So excited. I haven't painted in so long. It feels so good to be back here, and I love filming it and I love explaining it, so I'm back, baby. Good morning. So I don't actually know what I'm going to be creating for you guys today because I have so many amazing flowers. So first I got started with my background, but I had to remove my flowers that I had laid out. So I tried to keep them in this nice little square shape so I could kind of recreate a little bit of a grid feel, and then I could fairly easily picture the layout. So I started first with this kind of pale yellow green. Then I added a bit of warm gray, and this is a heavy textured paint from Sennelier. And then I added a touch of white, and this is a Liquitex brand paint. And then I just lightly mixed it. I didn't want to over mix it, but I ended up mixing it a lot more on the canvas than I had intended to originally, but you know, sometimes you improvise, and that's what I did for the background. So I like to swipe it on with my palette knife, and then I go in with the brush to lay it smooth. I added a touch of water to just kind of help the paint blend more easily, and I really like the texture I get from using a coarse bristled brush to do the background. And then I just did some guideline S shapes in the middle. You can just kind of see it's in the background texture, so I could kind of have an idea for how I wanted the bouquet to flow. Next, I went ahead and I got my piping tip. This is one of those Russian piping tips, and it is for making tulips. Now they don't come numbered, so I can't give you a number, otherwise I would be happy to. And I bought this one from Gaffrey Art Materials website, and I believe they are out of them now. You can find these on Amazon as well. So I filled my bag with a circular motion, kind of sticking to the outside of the bag. And I was kind of leaving a center that I could fill in with green paint later. So this is a heavy textured white by Gaffrey Art Materials. And then this is my random mixture of green that is too beautiful to not use. So I just put that in the middle, not very much, because I just wanted the very lightest green to melt through for the center, and I feel so happy with how it turned out. I think it's just so beautiful. It did blend exactly how I hoped. It's just lovely. So before I actually started piping my background flower, I remembered that I really like to create height using either paint leftovers that I don't like or some things that went wrong, kind of like these leaves. I didn't like these and I didn't want to use them in a proper painting as like a kind of a lead leaf. So I just used them as a perfect little background here. I piped on top of them and around them, and they provided a lovely structure to add some extra height and interest to the painting as I was going along. So it was a very good choice to do that. And can we just admire how perfectly these tulips are coming out right now? I did end up having a little bit of trouble here and there with my tulips, but those first few, man, they were gorgeous and perfect. And the green is in the dead center, exactly how I wanted it to be. It's just so beautiful. And I feel like this white was such a great choice. Now, did you see what that just did? You see how it had no definition for those last three I just piped? Well, that's because my painting tip has gotten too much paint on the outside, so it needs to be cleaned off very, very well in order for those paint pieces to come out and sit next to each other instead of merging on the other side of the tip. So I just cleaned it off very carefully, and it actually wasn't a big deal for those three to have no definition because it created a very nice background for me to set one of my sunflowers in. And because I haven't piped the backgrounds for the sunflowers, I wanted to flatten it so that when the time comes for me to pipe the centers, I have a fairly flat background to pipe onto. So I really like that the first sunflower has such extreme height, and then the second one, I just really wanted to press it right onto that canvas, right onto that background paint, and it just looked so beautiful right there. These sunflowers, I will have to show you in another video actually how I made those. Otherwise this video would just be far too long. So my intention is, my goal is, that once I finish editing this video, I'm going to go and work on the footage for how you can create these flowers for yourself. So that'll be my video coming out next week. So for now, you get to see a little bit of the after, and then I'll show you the before. I really love watching this again, and I just so appreciate getting to sit back and watch my own my action unfold in front of my eyes, because I always experience just a touch of low-grade anxiety as I'm painting these, because you really have to be kind of aware of like how it's unfolding and what would be the correct or best next move. And you also want to work quickly while you're doing it, but you want to make it look good. So it's a pretty zoned in, kind of intense. It's not super intense, but it has a touch of intensity to it. And when I sit back and I just rewatch these to do the voiceovers, they're so calming and so relaxing, and it's like I get to create it again, but this time I know I love how it turns out, so I can just really relax into it and not even worry. And look at those roses. Aren't those beautiful? I tried a different technique than I usually use for my roses, so I'm excited to show you in next week's video exactly how I pipe those. And then I have these beautiful poppies as well that were piped right after these roses, and I love how those turned out as well. It's just going to be a great video. I love this video. I'm excited about next week's video. I'm excited about the one I just made for you for last week as well. It's just been a good time, you know? I'm just having a great time. And I'm really trying to get enough content made for you guys so that when we move to Japan and I'm separated from my painting supplies for a couple months as we get, you know, settled in, I will hopefully still have some content for you guys coming out. So my goal is to release one video a week and create 2 videos per week. So I'm really hoping I can stick with that and keep it moving. Because I'll just be so sad when I'm wanting to share more paintings with you guys and we're living in a hotel and we don't know when our stuff is going to arrive. But you know, I'm trying to go with the flow and do what I can and not worry too much about the things I don't know yet. And when we moved to Italy from the US, it took our things about, I want to say 3 to 4 months to arrive, which is quite a while. So we'll see going from Italy to Japan if anything is different. Perhaps it will be, or perhaps I'll have to get very creative about the content I share with you guys. We just learned yesterday that our date for Japan is February 11th. So today it is December 9th, and it just feels like it's coming at us pretty quickly. So it's a very exciting time in our life right now. I gotta be honest. It is very, very fun. And it feels like just, you know, I mean, even just today, we were still unpacking a little, organizing from our most recent moves. So yeah, we're constantly in motion, I guess. I just love these white tulips. I haven't done them in, maybe I haven't even ever done them before. To be fair, I don't think I have. But they're so beautiful and they're so elegant, and I think I'll have to use them again. So I just decided to go back in there and make sure that I scoop out a little bit from behind that sunflower, just so I could have a little more wiggle room for when I'm piping the black into it, because I don't want it to get mixed with the white. So today is Saturday, and my husband has been sending me recipes all week that he wants to make this weekend. So currently, while I'm doing my editing, he's in the kitchen and he is cooking up a storm, and I'm so excited. He's making some naan bread, which we've made a couple times. I mean, he always makes it, and then I just, you know, help out with the last step, which is usually the frying. And he just makes it so well. It's so delicious. And it's such a soft and fluffy bread. And then he makes this beautiful garlic butter to go along with it, Like he roasts lots of garlic and mixes that with a butter. Oh my gosh, you guys. He just makes the best food ever. And he said he wants to try a new tofu recipe because I'm vegetarian. He is trying to learn how to make tofu a little bit more tasty because it's just such an interesting food. It's so void of flavor, so it really is such a canvas to create with, but flavor-wise. And I've been doing this marinade last week for my tofu that's like a cilantro and mint and lime mixture, and of course some salt in there as well. And it's so good. It just makes it taste so fresh and delicious. So today he's planning to air fry some tofu for me, and I'm excited because I haven't tried that yet. So yeah, we're gonna have a wonderful dinner. He's also gonna make, I think, some potatoes, I think, if I remember correctly. Him and I were going over some recipes this morning, and then he went to the store, and I'm not entirely sure all the things that we're gonna get, but I'm very excited. I really love food, and Italy is such a great place for food. And the other day, one of our friends introduced us to a new store that we hadn't been to before. And we got a piece of Parmigiano Reggiano because it was aged for 48 months. Now, I love Parmesan. I eat it probably every week. It's so amazing. And I always love the 24-month aged one. I don't usually like to go for anything younger than like the 12-month range because I'm a little bit picky, and I've just got good taste, okay? So I was so excited to try this 48-month one, and I made myself a beautiful cheese plate today. It was so delicious. I had some Parmigiano Reggiano, I had some Gorgonzola mixed with like brie. It's like a sweet cheese. And then I also had a touch of some of my Grano Padano, which is very similar to the Parmigiano Reggiano, except that it's not aged quite as long. Then I also had a couple of, I don't even know what you call them. They're like fancy little fruit spreads. I've only seen them here in Italy, and they are made to be enjoyed with cheese. And it's not a jam, and it's not a jelly. It just has a very smooth texture. And it's so amazing. It's such a beautiful balance for the cheese, because the cheese is so dry and so filled with salty umami flavor, and then you have this sweet, delicate, fruity flavor on the side, and it's just such a great combination. It's so cool. So I'm not hungry. I'm just passionate about food, but I hope you guys don't mind hearing about that, because I feel like as you watch me put this painting together, it's fairly self-explanatory. It's kind of a organic kind of flow that I follow, and I just kind of pick up from next to me whatever I think should go on next, and I really do this one at a time, and I just see how it looks. And at this point, when I've got so many flowers on the canvas, I really like to stand up and look at it from the top down, just to ensure that I'm not missing anything, or that a certain angle is, showing, you know, maybe not looking as good as another angle or something like that. So I really tried to fill everything in at this point. So I was afraid that they weren't sticking properly onto the background paint. So I just dipped them in a little bit of that extra paint that I'd wiped off my palette knife. So, I'm very resourceful that way. So I encourage you guys to just make things work a little bit because, not everything has to look super neat all of the time. If you can just, or not everything has to be super aesthetic all the time, and you can just use what you got. I really enjoy this painting, you guys. It looks so beautiful, and I'm just so pleased with it. So living here in Italy has not allowed me the opportunity to open my own shop online because of the tax codes with my visa. Italy has pretty strict rules on incoming spouses, or we're called dependents. So I was pretty disappointed about that, well, the whole time we've been living here. But I have been told that moving to Japan is going to allow me the opportunity to open a shop. And I'm so excited because then I can list these on my website and actually have everything easily available for order, and I'm so excited to sell these to you guys. So I am just so tickled about that. I can't wait. I mean, I have so many wonderful things on the horizon, and it is just a good life. So with this extra paint, I'm just going to pipe it onto this. It's a wood piece, but it's covered in plastic, so I can just easily peel the paint off. So I don't know what I'm gonna use this for, but I have a feeling that it's gonna be pretty nice. I hope you guys are really enjoying this video because I'm enjoying making it for you guys. I would really appreciate it if you would like this video, and of course I love it when you subscribe, and I hope you share this with people if you think they might be interested in this sort of thing, because I just love having more of you guys in my community. I've got cool stuff to share with you, so come along, join me. So now it's time to go in with this black paint, and this is just excess from another painting I was working on, but it's just regular black. And I'm just going to pipe that into the center of these sunflowers, and look at the contrast it's creating. Isn't that wonderful? Oh, gorgeous. So I found that I had a couple of these little curly Q pieces, and I love adding those. So it was one of the last things I added so they could really be visible. And I think they're just so cute, you know. I love the swirlies, you know, the swirly kind of vines and things like that. And I just feel like it's so cottagecore and it's just so romantic. And I love creating that in my paintings as well. So my poppies didn't have centers yet, so I just went ahead and added a little bit of lemon yellow from Gaffrey paint into the middle, and I just piped like 3 little dots. And you know, sometimes simple is the best way to go. And I think for these poppies that looked so intricate, it was a very good choice. So after I finished this painting, I let it dry for about 2 days, maybe 3, and then I went back in to do a couple touch-ups with the brush. And I'll show you guys in a few minutes what that looks like. But when after I finished doing the poppies, or the centers for the poppies, I was like, you know, this piece could use a little more of kind of these delicate dots. So I just went ahead and added those sporadically throughout the painting just to kind of give it a touch more of that bright yellow. And I think it did just what I intended it to do. And of course, I think this is one of the neatest signatures I've done on a painting, and I am just so happy with it. So I just went ahead and added a touch of a yellow swirl to the inside of the sunflowers. I was just feeling it in the moment, and I went for it. I can't say that it's a great technique that I'll repeat, but you know, when you're in the flow, you just gotta flow, you know. So then I stood there looking at it for a bit and decided it was finished for now, and I gave it a spin for you guys. So I had these light green pieces, and I just cut those into smaller, shorter pieces. I'm just going to speed this up for you guys, and we'll just watch the shading that I added. So I had a little bit of magenta and a little bit of cadmium yellow mixed with a clear medium just to create more of a shading effect and not so much a strong painting effect. And then I also added some yellow to the inside of the poppies, touch of yellow to the outer petals of some of the peach roses. And I just feel like adding the shading just really takes it up a notch, you know? And I always love to add shading to the inside of the sunflowers as well. I just feel like it just gives them that extra something, and it makes them look amazing. So whenever I feel a little, you know, like maybe a piece is nice but not quite where I want it, I've done this for a couple paintings now. I just go in with a brush and I just touch up a couple things, and it really just adds so much more flavor to the piece. And then I also just added, so I had some green and some yellow that I put around the inside of the sunflower, And then I also, just for fun, decided to go in with a little bit of background leaves, and they're so pale you can barely see them. So here's the reveal. You can see how gorgeous she is. Look at all that texture. Isn't that something else? Isn't that Poppy just the cutest? I love these so much, and they're just so pretty when they're all put together. Oh, so gorgeous. So come back next week if you want to see how these flowers are made, because I'm going to be teaching you close up views, and I'm going to give you the tips you can use and everything like that. You're going to love it. And of course, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. This is a little bit of a sunshine photo or video, and I just feel like the brightness just lights it up even more. Oh, she's so beautiful. A little zoom in, for that extra long look. All right, you guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope you have a wonderful day. Goodbye, my friends.